All this time you could have done that, but you didn't. Hey you, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jenny and I'm a licensed psychotherapist. Today we're breaking down The Little Mermaid, discussing the themes I noticed, parenting teens, and diagnosing Ariel. If you're interested, please keep on watching. The Little Mermaid is a movie about a rebellious 16-year-old mermaid who is fascinated with life on land. On one of her visits to the surface, which mind you are forbidden by her controlling father, she falls for a human prince. She was only there for less than a few hours. Determined to be with her new love, Ariel makes a dangerous deal with the sea witch, Ursula, who happens to be her aunt, to become human for 3 days. So let's get into the themes I noticed. Ariel is being parented by 9 people and more. Letting your children grow up even though you want to protect them forever. All right, let's get started with Ariel being parented by 9 people. Honestly, everyone was telling her what to do. Her father, her older sisters, which were 7 of them, I think. And also the little crab was parenting her too, by proxy from her father. Since her mother passed away when she was young, everyone felt like it was their duty to protect her, but she didn't want to be protected anymore. She's like, I'm 16. It's time for me to find my own way. This is so typical of a teenager. Unfortunately, everyone was against her going to the surface, and the reason why they were also against it is because a human killed her mother. Unfortunately, Ariel was really alienated in the fact that she had no one to talk to, not even her sisters. Your siblings are the people you're supposed to be able to turn to, share your secrets, but she didn't have that because they were too busy parenting her. It was totally unfair. She had no one to confide in. Yeah, she had the little fish, but what about, her sisters, her siblings? That was kind of sad to watch. But unfortunately, this is a dynamic in big families with multiple children. Somehow the older children end up parentified because the parents usually need help caring for all of their younger siblings. Because they were all her parents, she was kind of naive. She didn't have her own experiences. She didn't get to explore different things. She didn't get to experience her own things. They all learned from their mistakes, from their experiences, but Ariel was not having any experiences to say, I learned this lesson from that experience. She wasn't. So she was basically like this impressionable young girl who wanted to go to land, who didn't care what they had to say. She didn't care what they experienced. She just wanted to go, no matter what they were telling her. And while watching the movie, she ends up going to the surface, meeting a guy for a couple of hours and falling in love. Is that normal? Is that typical? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about that? And I know the movie was long, so it felt like she knew him forever. But y'all, it was only 1 day that she decided she fell in love with him, and 3 days until she decided that she wanted to be with him forever. One thing her father said that stuck with me is, as long as you live in my ocean, you will obey my rules. And that's not really fair. This is a 16-year-old girl who wants to explore. Either you take her to land and support her through that journey, or she's going to do it on her own and get into all sorts of trouble while doing so. And this is what ultimately happens to Ariel. Sebastian the crab tries to give the father advice, but honestly, he really can't because the father can just destroy him. And if you could see during the movie, the father had his hand on Sebastian, basically suffocating him. So he's not going to listen to anyone by himself, and he is the king. The father had Sebastian watching her and really everyone reporting back about what was Ariel doing. And it's unfortunate, but you can't watch over your child forever. They're going to want to live their own lives. They're going to want to do their own thing. So it's really important that parents provide children with the tools. Like I said before, take her to the surface and show her what it's all about. Ariel was basically the rebel child. She was off daydreaming, missing the family reunions because she wanted to do her thing. She was living in her own world, and no one could take her out of that. Honestly, it's really beneficial for young people to go and explore, to learn new things, even though it's hard for the parents to watch. The more they get to explore, the more confidence they'll have in making decisions for their lives going forward. One thing I was glad is that Ariel had Flounder, the fish, to talk to, even though she put him in dangerous situations a few times trying to reach her goal, trying to live out her own life. Right, let's move on to letting your children grow up even though it's hard. When it comes to parenting teens, I know most parents are so afraid of letting the teens live their life because they're like, oh my God, they're gonna get hurt, they're getting in a car accident, something's bad is gonna happen, and they're so worried. And unfortunately in life, bad things do happen. But it's important that you don't stifle your children. They need to learn, they need to grow, they need to understand. Do you think Ariel was selfish for putting them in danger, for going to the surface, for going on land? I don't think so, because Ariel has been expressing everything she wanted to do since she was however old. She's expressing that she's wanted to go to the surface. And even though she does fall in love with someone right away, she wanted to go to the surface way before that. She didn't have motives to go and fall in love. She just wanted to be part of that world. She wanted to do something different, but she had no support. So she's like, I'm going to get there on my own. And you have to give it to her for being determined. So when it comes to child development, she was right on par. And Erickson tells us that children between the ages of 12 and 18 are at the identity versus role confusion stage. This is where the adolescent's job is to learn the role they will play in society, all while they're developing a sense of personal identity. And that's exactly what Ariel was doing. She was discovering herself. She was discovering what she wanted to do, who she wanted to be, and where she wanted to belong. And unfortunately for her family and her father, the stage, she wasn't feeling like she needed to be under the sea. She wanted to be on land to explore and continue to explore. And she was ready to leave all of her family behind to achieve this goal of hers. You have to give it to her. She was brave. Unfortunately, she was only 16. So I kind of agree with the father. Hey, you can't just move away because you're 16. You have to stay home. But where I disagree with the father is him not getting together with her and saying, let's go explore together. That could have been the answer to all of Ariel and his problems. The king could have taken her there and said, this is what it is. Let me give you the lay of the land. Let me explain everything to you. But he didn't want to do that. He just said no, and that was it. There was no compromise. There was no talking and listening to each other. Children go off to college between the ages of 16, 18. I went to college at 17. So that's about that age where she would be heading off to college. So it does make sense that she would want to go on another different life experience. For me, maybe not marriage, but college. Have you ever felt like you didn't belong somewhere? That you wanted to try something else, move somewhere different, to live another life, to do a different thing? I know I enjoy walkable cities and being able to walk to the store and see those different things. Have you ever felt like you didn't belong? Let me know in the comments. Many people change their environments when they're not happy. Say you're not happy with the city you're in because you have to drive everywhere and you want to walk. You can change that. Say you want to explore new worlds, new countries, different cultures. Do it. You can. You should do it. So if you want to explore something different, you can and you should, because it's important. Like I said, Ariel just needed the support from her father. But I guess if Ariel's father let her go and went with her, we wouldn't have a movie. Or actually, we could have a movie. I'd love to see a movie where a teen wants to go somewhere and the parent goes, hey, let me take you there. That would be nice to see. Whenever people don't feel comfortable somewhere, people leave jobs all the time. They move states all the time. So it's completely appropriate to want to be a part of a different world sometimes. It's also important for parents to let children make mistakes, even if it hurts them. Because if you don't, the teen will most likely rebel and look out for alternative ways to get what they want. And this is what Ariel does in the movie. She goes to consult her aunt, the sea witch, and she gets a terrible deal. You must fall in love and kiss within 3 days. But then the aunt puts in the potion, she was going to forget that part of the deal. So Ariel wasn't going to win either way, because either she lost her voice and stayed on Earth forever, or two, she went and came back and became Ursula's slave. So unfortunately, unless you're giving your teen that support, you're priming them to trust bad actors. Yes, you're going to prime them to be naive, trust people they shouldn't trust, and it's not good. She really got there and related to Ariel. Your dad is mean to us. He doesn't let us do anything. Look, he's had me captured for a long time. Let me help you. That's how she did it. And Ariel felt for it because she wanted to do one thing and her aunt Ursula was giving her the way to do that one thing she wanted to do. Ursula was even like, he's controlling us. She really got to that part where Ariel felt heard in her presence, while Ariel did not feel heard by her father. Ariel was only feeling like, oh, you're right, this is what he tried to do to us. Ariel wasn't thinking, my father's trying to protect me. No, Ariel was thinking, my father's trying to prevent me from doing something. And again, this is developmentally appropriate for her. She's 16 years old. She's never going to think her father wants to be on her side. She's thinking her father is stopping her from doing the very thing she wants to do. Ursula even goes on to say, I made some mistakes, but your father never forgave me. Again, same thing with Ariel. She made her mistakes and her father was not happy with her. It's really important that parents allow their children to make mistakes. even if it pains them. Because what's going to happen is the children are going to rebel and do even worse. Unfortunately, the parents, by not supporting their children and listening, they're priming them for other people to come in and say, I can help you get there, whatever. You're priming your child to basically trust anyone that's going to get them to their goal. And unfortunately, it's going to be people that don't have your child's best interest at heart. They only care about themselves, like Ursula. Because if you look at it, Ursula didn't even care about her father or her. So why would Ursula be trying to help you? But Ariel wasn't thinking about that. She was only thinking, this is the way I'm going to get on Earth, by this lady helping me. She was honestly trying to show Ariel that she was on her side. She was trying to relate to Ariel. Ursula's like, Daddy's been unfair to us. He's trying to control us. I know what you're going through. Ursula is hitting all of Ariel's pain points with her father. Oh, you're right. He is being mean to me. I haven't felt heard. So in this moment, Ariel is feeling heard and she is feeling understood. And she might get to her goal. So she's thinking about it. She's thinking, he's in my way of living a life that I want to live, a life that I've always wanted to live. So she is thinking about her. And that is true. I think Piaget mentions that children become egocentric during this stage of development. Ursula's even like, oh, I've done some bad things in my past, but I've changed. And he still won't get off my back. Which again, relating to Ariel, she's done some things that she's not supposed to. She's gone to the surface, she's gotten in trouble. But so Ursula was really good at hitting those pain points. Which again, her father not supporting her, going to the surface with her, talking to her about it and just saying no and that's it, primed her to trust someone she knows she maybe shouldn't trust it. You can even see in the movie when the crab and the bird and the fish are trying to remind Ariel, hey, you need to kiss him. Ursula sends in this beautiful woman with Ariel's voice to capture the prince's attention because this is what he remembers about their interaction. But on land, Ariel is able to see that, hey, people are eating fish up here. This is what my father was talking about all along. She didn't have a voice and she couldn't communicate with the prince. So she was starting to understand, oh my gosh, this deal that I've made maybe is not the best. After everything happened and she goes back into the water, she's able to see that her father would fight for her. She's able to see that her father did give up his powers for her and that he loved her, that he was doing everything out of love. After everything is said and done, he's like, okay, now you're going to stay in the waters. You see what I was trying to warn you. But unfortunately, Ariel still was not satisfied. She had fallen in love. She wanted to go back to the surface and be with him. But I will have to say, even though she's always wanted to be a part of that world, she didn't want to be a part of that world for love. She wanted to always just be a part of that world. The falling in love was just a bonus. Would you give up an important part of yourself for love? Let me know in the comments. Like I mentioned before, she was very naive and she fell in love with a stranger. And honestly, this was bound to happen. This happens to young people everywhere all the time. But they were bound to fall in love because they had so many similarities. They had the overbearing parents telling them what to do. They both wanted to explore. They had too much in common not to fall in love. They were both collector of things. They both loved to travel and learn about other cultures. But both of their parents were telling them either the land is evil or the sea is evil. So they had so much in common. They could relate to each other. It was so easy for them to go ahead and fall in love. Something I really liked seeing was Eric's mother admitting, hey, I was wrong. You were right. You were in love with this girl. And she was real. I love when this happens. I love when parents apologize. I love when they admit they were wrong. It humanizes them and shows that we all can make mistakes, no matter how old we are. I also love seeing that Ariel's father realized there's nothing I could do to make her want to stay here. There's nothing I can do to make her happy here. I had to let her go. I had to see her expand her wings. I had to let her fly. He realizes that he has to let her go and that he won't be able to protect her, but he says, I'll always be here for you. And that's what I wish he did in the beginning, saying, hey, what you're wanting to do is dangerous, but how can I support you in doing that? How can I be there for you in doing that? I really understand Ariel so much. She was the youngest of 8 with 9 parents, and her mother passed away, and everyone was stifling her. Everyone was always watching her, trying to make sure she does things right. But what is the right way? When he realized that he had to let her go, it was really sad to watch. I was sad because I'm like, oh my God, this is so sad.
You didn't have had to give up your voice to be heard.
Because parenting is hard and you want to do right by your children, but the right thing is to let them go and let them fly. And I'm like, all this time her dad could have given her the legs. Her dad could have explored with her. It would have been such a sweet memory for both of them to have. All this time you could have done that, but you didn't. And I've also felt like at this time his needs came before Ariel's. his need to protect her, his needs to feel okay, his need to not be anxious and worried about her came before her wanting to travel and explore and learn. If he was there for her as a support instead of someone saying no, he could have given her so much guidance and always been there as a support system. She probably wouldn't have never had to go through all that. And I say probably because kids, no matter what, will still want to rebel sometimes. This movie was such a huge lesson on letting your children be themselves. This is so hard since you want to protect them, you want to love them, you want them to be happy, and you want them to be safe. Love them, but let them fly.
And I will always be here for you. We all will.
So I saw a lot of things like Ariel needed therapy, Ariel had body dysmorphia, Ariel was a hoarder. When it comes to body dysmorphia, and I'll give you the definition here. Body dysmorphia is a medical condition where a person spends a lot of time worrying about flaws in their appearance. One of the criteria that during the course of the disorder, the individual has to perform repetitive behaviors, for example, mirror checking, excessive grooming, skin picking, reassurance seeking, or mental acts like comparing his or her appearance with that of others in response to the appearance concerns. I don't think Ariel met those criteria. Even though she wanted feet instead of fins, I don't think she met that criteria, and we don't have enough to diagnose her. Was she a hoarder? Let me tell you the definition of hoarder from DSM-5. In the DSM-5, hoarding disorder is under the disorder class of obsessive compulsive and related disorders. It's characterized by persistent difficulty discarding possessions, a perceived need to save items in distress when parting with them, and an accumulation of items that clutters and compromises the intended use of living spaces. The disorder results in clinically significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, and other areas of functioning, and symptoms typically begin in adolescence or childhood and are chronic and progressive. Ariel was not a hoarder. And I say this because it did not impact her life. To be diagnosed with any disorder, it has to have a significant impact on your life. She still went about exploring and really lived life like a typical teenage girl. Now, did she need therapy? Well, anyone could need therapy. Therapy is beneficial. She could have used that because she didn't have any person to talk to. Her sisters were also trying to be her parent. So I do think she could have benefited from it, but we all can. So let me give you some tips for teens and parents. Parents, make it a safe space for your children. Learn their triggers and keep a door always open attitude. When the children get older, they're going to want to do their own thing, be their own person. That is completely developmentally appropriate, and we should support them in that. I'm not telling you to let your kids run all over you and disrespect you, but I'm just saying to keep an open door for them and learn their triggers so you can start understanding them. Try not to take things personally. It's not about you, parent. It's about the child. Or rather, the teen. Teens, talk to your parent or a safe adult when you need support. It's important. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. As always, if you're interested, please do me a favor. Like, comment, and subscribe. That would really help me out. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Bye now.